Okay, so welcome back from lunch. It's nice to get all the stats in. Top team of the week is Team B. You have the trophy, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So where we left off, you were role-playing the dilemma technique. Now, if you look at the dilemma technique, it says when a property is way overpriced, or when they want it to be they want more than it's worth, way over. What do? We need to let them know that first we need to know they're sold on us, that they like what we showed them with our marketing and they like us, but they're just concerned about price. And then we let them know that we take the sales in the area to help us figure out what price range you should be in. And I brought some comparables here. And this is what the buyers and the buyer's agents look at as well. And this is also what the banks look at, the appraisal companies. They all come in with an influence of what the sales are in the area. So I brought some of those here for you, okay? But I do have a dilemma here with the price you mentioned to me on the phone. So I just want permission to explain that to you, fair enough? And they'll say sure. And like I said, I tried to come up with your price that you told me on the phone. I went back further. I went back when it was a hot market. I couldn't even come close. So you're already letting them, feel that impact. You with me there, guys and gals?
Yes.
Okay. And the dialogue's just up on the screen here if you just want to look at me while I'm teaching, and it's right up here if you want. And so I need to tell you that the dilemma I'm faced with is that, should I just tell you what you want to hear just to get the listing? Because, you're happy with everything except the price. If I said $450, then we're good to go, right? Or should I level with you and tell you what you need to know? Because I have comps here that are not anywhere near that. And you leave the decision up to them. And then they may look at you and go, wow, nothing closer. No. Well, I need the facts, so show me what you got. So when you start taking them out, you follow the method number 2, which was the adjuster. Make sense? And it'll probably help you get them closer to 400. Probably will. And if they won't budge at all, or if they just don't believe in the stats and stuff, you're probably best to turn it down. If it's worth 400 in today's market and they want you to list at 450, what do you think will probably happen? What do you think will happen? Think it'll sell tomorrow?
No.
Expired.
It'll probably expire. And there's the best way to do real estate, then there's the second or third or fourth or fifth way, best way. One of the other best ways, and I shouldn't even call it a best way, one of the other ways is take a listing and you try to get them to reposition after 2 weeks. And you could do that. If you have no listings, maybe you need to just get one and work it. I get it. But if you could create the habits where you only take it saleable listings, what happens is when you do have inventory, you only have time to take saleable listings. Otherwise, you won't be able to carry any inventory. You will carry, but it'll just sit and go stale, and then at some point, nobody will use you because it ruins your reputation, in my belief, right? So now let's imagine that we did go through this with everybody, with a seller or sellers, and they said, yeah, we don't even care what the comps are. We're not listing unless we get 450. Now what do? Like we said, you walk away. Or if they seem like decent people, maybe just not quite understanding what you're saying, you may try one last technique, okay?
Ooh. Ooh.
I'm not getting this team to do it, I'll try again. Ooh. There we are. All right. So if none of it works, you either walk away if you know that it's not going to be a good experience, or with these people, or if you feel that it's still a little more explaining. And that looks like this. Now, by the way, in the back of your book, there's a version of this. It's just black and white and stuff like that. For all the colored stuff and the fancy stuff, you can get, it's in the memory stick on the product as well. But you want to make sure that you have a version of this at least that's created on your letterhead. Now, if you get the product, you just put your logo on it, that's it. And it's all there for you. If you want to create it all on your own, save a couple $100, like I said. But the thing is too, like being realistic to you guys, I'm not pushing you to buy as much as I'm trying to make it convenient for you to make money. So if you think, well, I'll save a couple $100 and I'll make this myself, the problem is you won't make it. You just won't. I'll talk to you a year from now and say how many times you used it. I guarantee you'll say I've never used it. But if you have it, you'll probably use it. Does that make sense? So that's why you want to make sure you have it. Okay, so the wholesale retail technique, we're going to do this and we're going to role play it as well, okay? And what you do is, they say, no, it doesn't matter what the comps are, we want 450. But you know what? I got one other thing I can show you that might make a difference, and then I'll let you know if I can help you or not. Fair enough? And this is if they're cooperative. Again, if anybody's giving you a hard time, or you're just uncomfortable, or it's getting to the point where you're getting upset, what should you do?
Leave.
You're gone. So we already taught the part about leaving, okay? It's like, well, thanks for having me, I can't help you. It's as simple as that. And then you leave, that's it, right? And you go, oh, good, it's off my plate, I don't have to worry about it now. But if they're treating you good and you like them, I got one other thing to show you. We'll see if this will work, okay? And you take this out of and it's right in the back there, you take it out and you hand it to them. So when you role play, I still want you to act like you're handing it to them. Can you do that?
Yes.
You do not do this in front of them. If you do, you get less success. If you get them to do it, you get more success. So you look at them and you say to them, okay, now the one you'll have will have some things on it. It'll look more like that. It'll say there's a retail price on your property, and there's a wholesale price, and then there's your list price. And you have a worksheet, so you want to fill it in, right? Whereas when you go, it'll be already made up for you. So make sure you got that. Now, I think yours says that on it already, but it doesn't say, like I added some stuff, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so if it says, what does yours say, retail or CMA?
Retail.
So put a dash CMA, and does it say wholesale or investor?
Wholesale.
And put a slash investor, and the other part's on there, your list price?
No.
Okay, so put that in there. When you do, put up your hand. Okay, so, and now this is how you present it. So you'll say, there's 3 prices on your property. So remember what I said first. I got something else I can show you that might make a difference. That's how you start your role play. What do you say again to start?
Have something to show.
Just say to the person beside you.
I have something to show you.
I have something I'd like to show you that.
Okay, so you say, I have something else to show you. It
I
might
have
make a
something
difference.
else to show you.
I have something else to show
I
you.
have
So-
something for you.
On this page here, there's 3 prices on your property. 3 prices. The first one is basically retail price, or that's what the comparables say. That's the first price. The next price, now the comparables is what the market says your home's worth right now, in that range. That's retail or CMA value. Then the wholesale or investor price is what an investor will pay you to get you your money today. Not just to give you an offer, but actually give you your money. So what do you think you have to do to your price to get an investor to give you your money today? What do you think?
Lower it.
Lower it. Thank you for saying
Lower
that. Yeah. And that's what investors will do. They'll say, they're looking for a deal, they're looking for profit off the purchase, and their fair trade is that I'll give you your money today, but I want a deal. Right? That's what investors do. And then the other price is your list price, which was what again?
Higher price.
450 we said, right? 450, okay? So let's put in some prices here, because he didn't care what the comps were. So then I just tell him and the couple, I say, so I want you to write in that the retail value in my folder here is about 400, so write that in. Once you've done that, put up your hand. Now an investor will only pay 75% of retail value to get a deal,
Yeah.
right? But he'll give you your money now, so what's 75% of 450?
300.
It's actually 337 something. So it's 75 times 4.
Oh, 450.
Yes, from 450. So anyways, let's say 350 or 330. Okay, so put in 330. So he's willing to give you 330 today. Would you sell it for that, you two?
No.
No.
Don't throw your voice. I don't like that. I told you.
Oh,
He said he answered for you.
that's a no.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. In other words, I was trying to tell him not to say. I'm talking to Mr. and Mrs. Seller here.
No.
That's Arbaz and Durkes.
Diction.
Diction.
There he is him.
I got mixed up. So I didn't see. That's why I need the name tags. Even though I'm getting to know you guys, I can't. If I can't see them, I'm getting all confused. So, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, how much did you want? 450. Okay. So an investor will only pay 75%, so it's about 330.
Yeah.
So would you take that?
No.
Through your voice again. I heard it again. So, if you were willing to do that, I'd probably buy it off you. But I knew you would. But I'm just letting you know what's out there.
Yeah.
You agree that the market is what the comps are. you agree that an investor would want a deal.
Yes.
But we're talking your list price, so put in your list price again there, which is $450, I think, right?
Yep.
Now, that's one scenario to play out this, but later on, we're gonna go back to what your scenario was when we were role-playing this morning, us three, because your price was 400.
Yeah.
We're not doing that right now.
Okay.
So let's just, and now you're gonna have some other things on the sheet that I'm gonna put up on the screen. When the screen is done, if we remove the numbers, that's how your sheet will look. You'll have 20 of them printed off, and you'll just have one ready whenever you need it.
Okay.
And you'll add in the numbers based on your appointment.
Right.
But for the role play, we've been saying some numbers so you understand it. And then you say this, you say, so we mentioned that an investor would give you your money, so here's what you do. You say your list price of $450 is based on time. So write that down there, okay? I'll keep moving it until you, did everybody see it?
Yeah.
Everybody's got it when you do put up your hand? Okay? You got it there, spell that out nice and big, you got it? So their price being different than retail, to get their price would be based on
Time.
how long would it take for them to get, let's say, 10% more than it's worth? It's about 11 or 12%, but 10% is good enough, right? How long would that take? So you say, the investor said they would give you 75% of the value, and they give you the money how fast? Within a day to a week, let's say, right? And you wouldn't take that, right, you guys?
No.
No, you wouldn't take 330. So we can't go out there and expect to get the money. Now, when you get the money, what else has happened? Title has been transferred. The property has closed,
Change.
Chang.
right? So I'm talking about it closing to change within 1 to 7 days,
Yeah.
not getting an offer.
Yeah.
You already got the offer, but it closes to change
Chang.
in like 7 days. You know that you'd have to really give somebody a deal for them to come up with that money. They're probably a cash sale. Okay. Now this is, remember, you're talking to sellers, not to a bunch of realtors that overthink things. Remember, some realtors would say, "Oh no, I need to understand this fully before I can even move forward." Like sellers doing something as opposed to nothing will always get you further. Now, did I say you do this for every single appointment?
No.
Which one again do you do this for? The one that said, "I don't care what the price is"?
Yes.
No.
And only if they're nice?
No.
They are still nice,
Right?
yeah.
No.
That's what's no? I missed some. Somebody kept saying no. Anyways, you do this with those people, right? So there's only 1 or 2 that you'll end up doing it with. So if we go up from there to try to get to a retail value at least, we would need a little more time. Like, think about this. How long does it take for somebody to get pre-approved, write an offer, remove conditions, and then their possession time is usually 30, 60, 90. So the fastest you can sell a house might be, 3 months by the time they get their money. 2 to 3 months. Now don't tell me, yeah, I had one closed the other day in 21 days. I know, but that's an exception. I'm talking about the majority of the time when you get a listing and somebody writes an offer, it's about 2, 3, or even 4 months before they move in, agreed? And they're getting financing most of the time, is that true or not?
Yes.
Most of the time. So let's move up from there. So if you keep it simple, you just say, so, hey, if another investor came along and said, I needed a month to get you your money, he might pay a little bit more. And another one might say, if you give me a couple months, I'll give you more. But now we're getting into people that would be financing, because they need a month or so to get the financing all approved and the conditions removed and all that kind of stuff. And then their possession date might be 30 or 60 days after that. So to get you about, close to retail value, it might take 2 or 3 months for you to get your money. That seems about right, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they go, oh, okay. So, and you'd say that's if it's priced like a competitive price. So to get maybe full market value, it might be 3 to 6 months, for sure 3 to 4 months before you get your money. But the problem is you want 10% more. So extend that pyramid, you guys, all of you on your book, and put 110% like it does on the screen. Just extend your pyramid, okay? Write it out yourself. And put, listen, if you want 40 or 50,000 more than it's worth right now, that might take a year to get the money. And that's only if the market was going
Up.
up. And guess what the market's doing right now?
Going down.
It's going down. So then you say, so your price is based on time. So if the market was going up, 10% a year, and usually you don't see it go up that fast. Usually when you hear properties going up, it's 5%. So you may need a 2 year. I've taken a 1 year listing one time because somebody said, okay, fine, we'll go up 110% and give you the listing for 12 months. I said, in this case, I said, sure. And it was interesting because if we use these numbers, we listed at 450, had the listing for 12 months, they knew it was worth 400, we got an offer at 400, guess what they did?
Accepted it at 400?
Yeah, they accepted it. So, if you're gonna take a higher price, then take a longer time.
That's true.
Otherwise, you gotta have some sort of a fair trade. Or better yet, I would reject it, I would turn it down and go find another listing, which is a better thing to do. But at least, everything works out in logic, does that make sense? If you need your money quicker, you gotta lower your what?
Right.
Price, because then you'll get somebody that'll either come up with the money faster or get qualified faster, or they'll do something to get you your money quicker, but you got to give them something back. It's usually a price thing, right? So now they realize that, okay, so just to get 400, I'm going to need like 3 months. And then if they say, is it going to take you 3 months to get an offer? No, that's not what we're talking about. We're not even talking about that at all. I hope you guys are clear on that, yes?
Yeah.
We're not even talking about an offer. We're talking about if you get an offer in a week and sell it to an investor, he'll probably give you your money, 25% off though, but right away. And then somebody may say they have to get some money out of another account or another business and they need more time, but they'll pay you more. But the general part is 95 to 100% of market value. It's going to be on the market. It's probably going to take a few days or a few weeks to get conditions removed, get everything firmed up, and then most buyers need 30 to 60 or even 90 days to move in. And that's where we get about retail value, about 3 months. That's why it says 3 to 6 months. So I'm going like this: 1 day to 1 week, 1 week to 1 month, 1 month to 3 months, 3 months to 6 months, 6 months to 12 months is the idea. Okay, that's the price time technique. But the bottom line is you got to say to them, when would you like your home sold? That's the question. So we're going to think about this for a second, and we're going to go back to the other page in a second. Because the bottom line is you need to educate them and put the monkey on their back where it belongs.
Yeah.
Okay? So doing something will always get you further than doing nothing at all. So even if you didn't totally understand that, and you go try, you might be surprised at how some of the sellers react. They might look at you and go, oh yeah, I get it. Oh yeah, we don't want to do that. So we'll go at retail price. So the question is, even if you're not comfortable with it, will you come out of your comfort zone and at least try it? Now, how do you get better at understanding what I teach? What's one of the tools I give you to help you to understand this material even better? Now, you could go out and practice, but there's one other tool I gave you. Do you know what it is? Something I gave you so you can remember this stuff even better.
Audio.
Audio tracks. And for those of you that listen to it a minimum of 3 times this week, put up your hand. Okay, so that's really good. Sometimes I get a few people that don't, and like I said, it kind of breaks my heart because it's really valuable to you. So if you're sitting there and you're going, I kind of get this wholesale retail thing, but not quite, you can either call me and we can discuss it a little further, or you can go listen to the audio track a couple times, and then a little light comes on your head sort of thing. You go, oh yeah, I get it more now. But we're going to move on for now, okay, gang?
Yes.
Okay, actually, I think what we'll do is we will, I'll see if we can have time to role play before we take our afternoon coffee break. But I'm going to do the close now.
Cha-ching.
And then we will do a quick role play back on the wholesale retail technique, and then we'll take a coffee break. And then when we come back, we're going to show you how to get a 6-month listing. Really easy. How does that sound?
Perfect.
Okay, so everything I give you, it's not hard for you to do if you just follow the steps. It's when people say, I don't think I can get it, and they don't follow the steps, that's when it becomes hard. Are you with me?
Yes.
Yeah.
And some of you are guilty of that, some of you because you're brand new and it's just awkward, I get it, but you still have to push through. You have to trust me. We're going to show you how to use the property or saleability checklist after the break. We're going to show you the benefits of working with expireds. are approaching them. And of course, you have your weekly activity and a few other things. So I'm going to do the close, and then we're gonna role play quick, and then we'll take a break. Sounds good? Okay, so. It's just a time zone delay there. You guys must be an hour behind me or something. Or 10 seconds behind me. What I said. So anyways, just kidding. So we've got, so where were we then? Oh yeah. So in our 7-step sales process, you remember your lead-in, remember what it took to get your listing, remember how you prepared yourself, and then you asked a series of questions, previewed the property, went over your marketing plan, and then you segued, after you confirmed they like you and your company, into the pricing segment where you showed them how most successful sellers pick the right price, and you tried maybe the dilemma technique and it still didn't get you anywhere, and you tried the wholesale, retail, maybe it worked. And they go, yeah, I get it, and because they might say their plans are to move in that new house by January 15th. And how long can they try for 450 if they'll never get it? You have no time for that. You literally have to be at less than retail.
Yeah.
Like if we go back here, when you role play, what you'll do is this: you'll show in your role play, you'll show this to the seller. Now, showing them meaning they got to have it in front of them, and you're guiding them through it. And when you get to the end, you'll say, when do you want your home sold? And they'll say January 15th. Can you remember that date?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you'll say, okay, let's look on here and see where that falls. So where does January 15th fall in? That's 2 months.
Yeah.
So it would be between 85 and 90% of retail value.
Right.
Remember, this is all, bottom part's all based on retail value.
Right.
If they want their money quick, and they want me to almost guarantee that I can get it, you want me to almost guarantee, I can't guarantee 100%, but you want me to give you a high percentage ratio,
Yes.
Mr. and Mrs. Seller? Yes?
Yes.
Yes. So, if you went in at 385, very good chance you get your money to close on January 15th.
Okay.
If we go up towards retail value at 400, there's a chance, doesn't this make sense though?
Yeah.
Like you said, there's a chance that we can still get January 15th, but more of a chance it'll be February 15th.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
That'll get you retail value probably. See, but here's the really cool, really neat thing, you two, is that if you did originally come in under, like at 95%, sometimes buyers come out of the woodwork and you might get multiple offers and even get more and still get an early possession. But you won't get it at 100% retail value or at 110%. You'll have to be at 95% or 85%. So you got to say, okay, is it worth us taking a chance? We still might have to sell it at 385 if we list it at 385, just so you know. I mean, you don't have to do anything, but I mean, when you offer to do that, you should. Make sense? You don't want anybody trying to sue you later for something. So in your mind, you'll say, well, if it does come to it, we'll be okay with it. At least we get our timing and our convenience.
Yeah.
So 385, with, thinking that there's a possibility we make it more than one offer. And if we go the other way, if we go at 100%, then you need to know that you might not get your money to February 15th, so you may have to do bridge financing, and that might cost you a couple grand. So maybe that's less than selling it for less, so you have to balance that out. But you definitely don't want to go over 100% of retail value because you might not get an offer for a couple of years. That's just not acceptable for you, is it?
No.
So we can't do that. So that's how you'll kind of role play. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's go back here and do the close.
Ding, ding, ding. Ooh.
It's nice when everybody's kind of synced. I got, one ooh and a cha-ching over here and silence over there and people just ignoring me. And then I try to get everyone together here, So a 6-step process. So we're back, we're at step 4, we're going to step 5. Step 5 is when we explain forms and get them to sign. That's, as we said, closing, cha-ching.
Cha-ching.
Right? So before we get there, we have to confirm the price on the net sheet. So we did 400,000, yes?
Yes.
And you were getting net how much? Stop throwing your voice.
180.
180, is that right?
Yes.
180, yes, you're still throwing your voice. Now you sounded like a guy, there's a guy back there that said. I don't know if it was, or it's my imagination now.
No, it's good.
So you're getting net 180. So So we confirm the price. Now, by the way, on the net sheet, when you do the math and they initial theirs and you put it in your folder and you give them yours, you'll say, so you're gonna net how much? And they'll say, what again?
180.
180.
Then you probably wanna say, is that enough? Does that sound like a good thing to say?
No.
It's not a good thing to say, so don't say it. So make sure you don't say, is that enough? You say, any questions? Can you say that?
Yes.
Any
Let me hear it.
Any
Yeah,
questions?
so how much you gonna net?
Any question?
180.
Any questions?
No.
No.
Now, if they're good with it and they're ready to go forward, then we already established that, we confirm price established that. Then if they say they're fine with it, so just to get this, I didn't push the button, but, so we confirm the price and we put it on our net sheet. Then we establish net and then we say any questions. Now, couple scenarios. One scenario is they're fine with it, so then you start explaining the forms. Fair enough?
Yeah.
Other scenarios, that's not enough. You know, they just say, that's not enough. And you say, okay. So before you move to the next step, you have to confirm the price and get the net. So how much more do you need then? Like, do you have to get? I need at least 200,000. So now we have this dilemma. We're going to, the net goes up 20 grand, the list price has to go up 20 grand, isn't that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you go back to the wholesale retail technique. So even if they want you to show the CMA and then it comes full circle and you can't get them at that right price, you could still use the wholesale retail technique. You don't have to use it just for people that don't want to know the price. You can actually use it other times. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you could say, okay, I got something here I could show you, or something else I can show you. So you can see how it works if we have to go for the higher price. Because we can't do magic, all of you, just understand. We're pushing it at 180 because we're going with best case scenario and we're trying to crunch it in less than 3 months.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't even be at 400, we should be at 380. Now they want us to go at 400. Now that the net's not enough, now they want us to go 20 grand higher. So the net 200,000, so we have to list it at 420. Okay, so let's go back to the pyramid. I'm not gonna do it here, but just so you remember. And where does 420 pop in? That's 5% more than retail value. Retail value is gonna take at least a couple, 3 months. So now it might take more, and that's only if the market is
Going
Going
up.
up.
going up. And I want to tell you, and that's why you see some of these producers I mentioned that even over 5 grand, they won't take it.
Yeah.
Like the market's going like this. 5 grand when the market's going like this
Yeah.
is like overpricing at 25 grand because the market's going down.
That's true.
Yeah, you could be 5 grand over or 50 grand over, it won't make any difference because the market's going down. So you got to walk away from it even if it's a small amount sometimes. Okay? So back on this, let's say they go, yeah, 180 is fine, then we can make that work. Great. So let me explain the forms. So I showed you how to explain the forms. And yeah, let's see here, yeah. And so in your folder, we gave you the checklist for that, so you know what's in there. And in there's the forms. And what's the first form that we wanted to explain to them?
Consumer relations.
And what's on there on the first page? 6
Fiduciary.
fiduciary duties. Do you know what they are now? You guys?
Yeah.
What was the first one again?
Undivided loyalty.
Second one?
Obedience.
Confidentiality.
Confidentiality.
Third? Reasonable care and skill, I think. Fourth?
Obedience.
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 Yeah.
And the fifth? I know what the last one was. But fifth one? And the last one? Full
Full disclosure.
accounting. Full accounting. It's just over
Full
here.
accounting.
Accounting.
Yeah, the accounting was, and so, you know, so I know you can't remember them right now anyways, but if you read your forms a minimum of how many times a week?
3.
3. Or you're on 3 appointments and you're explaining the forms a minimum of how many times a week?
3.
3. You're gonna remember this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And if you can't quite remember, you're gonna have it in front of you anyways, highlighted with a yellow marker. So explain your consumer guide or working with a realtor guide and your fiduciary duties first. What's the next form to explain? FinTrack. Ask them for ID, even if they don't want to list. Are we clear on that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you gotta get them to actually say, no, I don't want it to be, they have to be the ones, I don't want to see this stuff anymore. As opposed to you just thinking they don't want to see it. Does that make sense? So let me show you, because you guys have to make a decision based on the facts. And did you see all the facts that were on those forms when I really showed you today a bit?
Yeah.
Like what was on there? The fiduciary duties are important, aren't they?
Yeah.
FinTrack, we know what that is, but think about that seller agreement that's next. There was disclosures, there was fiduciary things on there as well, there was seller responsibilities. There was, the RPR was on there, the material latent defects was on there, how a contract works, how it ends.
Other
And
visible
It-
defects.
I want you all to make sure you promise me you read all, like, the consumer guide and your seller agreement tonight. You gotta read it. You gotta read it. Just read it, nice quiet time, and think, and you'll see, what I want you to look at it, and your buyer agreement too at some point, read it, because these forms are not meant to make people not want to sign them. They are all, you know who created those forms? We know Area did, and they're enforced by RECA. We know that. But what really pushed those forms is the general public. That's who made the forms when you really go far enough back. The public has demanded professionalism out of this. They won't tell us that right up front. In fact, most of them will say, oh, I don't want to do this now. But the general public, through the politicians and everything, have made us have these forms
Yeah.
to protect them. And if you read them with the right mindset about the benefits in this form for them, when you explain it, it's all about what's in it for them, and they'll go, wow, this is incredible, where do I sign? And that's not even if you show all the value for your marketing plan. Isn't that crazy? So you need to know your forms, okay? So you explain the forms, and then after you explain the forms, if they didn't sign, you ask them if they have any questions. In your presentation, it's just a big question mark. And then you make a mutual decision. And if they want to sign, then hand them the pen and direct the signature, okay? Just remember, after you get a signature, pack up and get out, don't socialize, but closing is the natural conclusion to a fine presentation. The only reason you shouldn't get a signature is if you messed it up. You skipped steps, you don't believe that there's any value, you don't show that there's any value, you don't take your time to show them how important they are. And if it's not because of those things, then it's just somebody that isn't serious about selling at this point. Make sense?
Yeah.
But let's say we have serious sellers, where they're building up, the house is half built, they're moving in 2 months. If you do it right, the natural conclusion is closing.
Teaching.
Isn't that true?
Yeah.
It's natural, if they really are gonna sell. Okay, so I can't talk about the ones that, you know, there's all kinds of different sellers, but the majority of them have a plan in place to either buy another house or move into a new home or move to a different city or upsize or downsize or whatever. And these are the kind of appointments we want to go on. How do we recognize that it's a good seller? Go back to your prospecting track and look on the left. There's an arrow that goes down to bona fide appointment checklist. Your bona fide appointment checklist helps you to recognize if they're really sellers, right? Really want to sell, or they're just like suspects. I'm just joking by saying that, but some people, they're not interested in selling unless they have some realtor comes up and says they can get them way more than it's worth. And somehow, I don't know why they think he can do it, because we all have the same information.